Now this video is going to be teaching 3 basic palms, and there's going to be a false transfer with each of those palms, and there's also going to be a modified French drop. It's not too much different, but it looks a little better. And at the end of the video there's going to be some very important information. Now before we get into actually teaching you the moves, we're going to talk about coin size. Now the 3 sizes of coins that I'm going to talk about are the quarter, the $50, and a dollar size. Now you're just really going to have to play around with it, and I don't think size particularly matters a whole lot. There are some things that'll make it slightly different depending on the size, but I think with enough practice even a small-handed person can use the dollar size. Again, it just depends on how much you want to put into the practice. So hopefully you've decided on a coin. Let's move on to the first palm. Now before we get into the classic palm, I want to talk about a couple of bad habits that people develop, not just practicing, but performing. The first one is if the coin is needed in classic palm, you will see that thumb shoot out. And the second one is once it's in the classic palm, the fingers become very rigid and you can't really move the fingers, or you don't feel like you can. Now if you practice the way that I'm about to show you, you shouldn't develop these habits at all. It's just good to be aware of them. Now if you already have those bad habits, start practicing this way and it'll go away very quickly. Now, people might think that there's one spot for the coin, and as soon as you find that one spot, you're just gonna instantly know, and it'll make your classic palm look perfect. The bad news is that the coin is not always classic palmed in the same position. It doesn't vary by much, but generally it's going to be somewhere in the middle of your palm, and it's kind of anywhere in this general vicinity. Remember that you can move your thumb at the base like this, and you can move it at the knuckle. What you're going to do is move the base of the thumb towards the base of the pinky knuckle. And when you do, you're going to feel that this mound of flesh puts a little bit of pressure on there, and naturally it's going to push it up against this mound of flesh. So keep in mind that it's not palmed from the top and bottom of the coins, it's palmed more from the sides of the coin. And once you feel that it's tight enough, it's a very loose grip, keep that in mind. It's not something that's meant to feel very tight. You should be able to turn the hand over. And notice that your fingers are all free to move, as is the thumb at that other joint. Now how you're going to practice this is as you're pinching the coin, you're just going to turn your palm downwards. And when you do that, make sure that this coin goes on the tips of your middle and ring finger. And to stop this thumb from shooting out, you're going to pinch the index finger and the thumb. Right? So now the position is the thumb and the index are pinched, and the coin is just resting on the fingertips of my middle and ring finger. Now this is all happening when the hand is turned over like this. Basically what's going to happen is these fingers will just lever this coin up into the palm, and with your thumb, remember we talked about contracting this way, even though your fingers are pinched, you should be able to squeeze that coin in and pinch just enough to get it into the classic palm like this. This dollar size is slightly big for me. There is going to be some movement of the thumb, and you might not even be able to get rid of some movement in the thumb when you palm it, but what you're trying to avoid is that. If there's a little movement here, then that's completely fine, just as long as you don't get that thumb to shoot out. just retaining this coin in classic palm. You display the coin in what's known as an open classic palm position, and that basically is it's ready to have your thumb just slightly contract over that coin, and it's in classic palm. So as soon as you find the position for this, remember you want to practice being able to get into this position right away. You don't want to have to bounce the coin as you show them. That's just going to give away that you're trying to get something ready. So the idea is to make your false transfer look like your real transfer. Now, depending on the coin's size, you can have this in a couple of different positions, but generally it's going to be at the base of your finger's knuckles, in the middle two fingers, and you're going to contract with the third finger. So the third finger is really the one that is holding this coin in place. So, keeping that coin palmed like that allows my pinky to be free and curl as much as I need. The middle finger is holding onto the coin, the ring finger, and the middle finger is there. A smaller coin can not only be palmed at this knuckle here, but you can actually palm it higher up. You can show the inside of your palm, and it appears to be completely empty. This is known as the Ramsey subtlety. The coin is actually here. So, you can imagine when the coin is in a high finger palm, you can show more the inside of your palm. And that is the general idea. It's nothing you bring attention to, so that's why it's called a subtlety. It's something that just when you flash, they'll be able to see the inside of your palm, and that will completely convince them that you have nothing hidden in your hand. The idea is exactly the same for all these false transfers. You're just going to keep it in that palm while you transfer it. So it's just the same as the other false transfers that you're learning, only with a different palm. It's called the thumb palm, but it's just basically clipped by the thumb there. As you have the coins at your fingertips, you let the coin rest again on the middle and ring finger, and you can just pull this coin up. Just curl your fingers in, and that coin will just tilt that way. And it brings it pretty much right at the base of the thumb right there. And all you need to do is clip it with your thumb. Just put that coin right there and squeeze, and that's the position. It's a very simple idea. You're just doing the action of placing the coin into thumb palm as you pretend to place the coin into the left hand. So the typical French drop kind of looks something like this. Taken with the fist, and it's not really there. The idea is essentially the same. There's just a few minor touches that I've put on it to make it hopefully look a little better. Now, I don't think that these ideas are original with me. In fact, I know the taking at the fingertips, which I like to do, was credited to Derek Dingle. The changes that I've made, this being the first one, instead of holding the coin straight on like this, I turn the coin slightly away from my body. It's just a very slight turn, very slight. So it's at a very little angle, and basically what that does for me is it helps me, when I drop the coin, it puts it perfectly in the middle fingers, where my finger palm is. As the hand comes over, the coin is dropped into the finger palm position. the hand comes away, and as soon as the hand lifts the coin away, this hand immediately turns over like this. Now you'll notice when you come over to grab the coin at your fingertips, the coin is completely obscured. This is the point you would drop the coin and follow through with the action. It's just being taken at the fingertips. So once it's here, you drop that coin, and your thumb presses against your fingers like you have the coin, and you come away and do that wrist turn. So, the first thing I want to talk about is how to practice your palming. Practice all the time. And remember to not palm with just one hand. Do it with both hands. Even if you don't plan on palming a coin with your left hand, if you're right-handed right now, later on, eventually, you'll be glad that you learned how to. So it's just good to be able to do it in both hands. And the classic palm obviously is going to take a lot of work if you want to be able to use all your fingers and get it to look very natural. The only way you can practice this is keeping it in the classic palm all day, no matter what you do. Driving, cooking, drinking, eating, anything. Just keep it in that palm. It will fall out. You will drop it. Just place it back in there like how you were taught, and try and hold it in there. Place the coin into your hand. The coin or object might not weigh anything, but if you kind of accentuate the weight, so when the coin goes into the hand, this hand drops a little, just kind of giving the illusion of weight, that the item is actually in there. And the combination of this wrist that's doing the tossing, you'll notice that when you toss, your wrist just lets go. So, if you apply that to a false transfer, it makes it look quite a bit better. Hope this helps you get started in coin magic. If I didn't go over something enough, feel free to leave a comment, and hope this helped.